What's going on, everybody? Josh Engleman for Awesemo.com, and I am back with my NBA DFS contenders on DraftKings for Wednesday, June 16th. Now be sure to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell so you know when this and all of our other content goes live. Follow me on Twitter at Josh Engleman, only place you're going to get updates to my sim results as we get closer to lock. Finally, let me know in the comments section who is your favorite and least favorite of my contenders for today's slate. We are rounding out the bottom of my top 10 with Kawhi Leonard, Bogdan Bogdanovic, Marcus Morris, Danilo Gallinari, and Joel Embiid on the outside looking in. Who will be my favorites? My top 5 plays for today? It's time to find out. First up at number 5, we're going to shooting guard, small forward eligible Kevin Huerter. He's just 4,800, projected for 25. Goal is 32. He's in the optimal lineup 38% of the time. Huerter's seeing bigger minutes in this playoff series. I've got him in for 35 here. Just over 0.7 fantasy points per minute. However, you're basically hoping for a little bit of everything. 11 points, 3.5 boards, 3.5 assists, 1.7 stocks. You just need him to be out there. The minutes are huge. But the real key piece for Kevin Huerter, shooting guard, small forward, guard forward utility. You can put him in 5 of the positions on DraftKings on a 2-game slate. That makes him very easy to fit into most lineups, not to mention sub 5K and 35 minutes. Kevin Huerter's looking pretty darn good today. As is fellow Hawk John Collins, power forward center eligible, 6K, projected for 30.5. The goal's 39.5. He's also in the optimal lineup 38% of the time. Collins' minutes seem pretty steady at 34. He's well below his normal rates in this series, but that doesn't really matter to me all that much. He's basically a 0.9 guy for this game. Totally cool with it at 34 minutes. 18% usage, 16 points, 7 boards, and honestly, he was looking pretty good and pretty active on the boards in the last game. Plus 1.8 stocks, so you could fall into a couple additional rebounds or blocks, and that would, or a couple rebounds and blocks, a couple steals and blocks, and that would be absolutely fantastic. I think John Collins' activity is also really great in the situation that Joel Embiid is potentially a little bit slower laterally. I think that opens things up for Collins' athleticism. I think that opens him up to be in a lot of my lineups as we get closer to lock. Another 38%er, Reggie Jackson. Point guard, shooting guard eligibility, 5,100, projected for 27. The goal is 34. And as I mentioned, similar story, tied with Collins and with Huerter at 38% likelihood of being in the optimal. He's playing big minutes. He's a key piece of this Clippers rotation now. 31 minutes for him here, 0.88 fantasy points per minute, 21% usage. You're getting about 15 points, 4 assists, 3 boards. You're going to need him to be out there for the scoring. It's going to have to kind of work out perfectly for you, but the dual eligibility and the price help make up for the fact that it wouldn't shock me at all if he played like 27 minutes. And you really want those extra 4. But I'm okay with it. You can put him at point guard, putting at shooting guard. You can put him at guard or utility. That's helpful. But 5,100 for 30 plus minutes, that's about as good of a value as you're going to find on these 2-gamers. Staying in the exact same positional designation, point guard, shooting guard eligible Bogdan Bogdanovic is my number 2 contender. He's 6,500, projected for 35. The goal is 42.5. He's in the optimal lineup 42% of the time. Bogdanovic is playing 40 minutes a game. I love to see it. North of 0.8 fantasy points per minute. Neutral-ish usage, 21%. 18.5 points, 4.5 boards, plus 4 assists, and almost 2 stocks. This is the minutes played du jour. Now that he is firmed up and playing 40 minutes, 6,500 is just not enough price tag. He's an excellent value no matter what style of lineup you're building. All right, now before we get to that number 1 contender, one last reminder, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell so you know when everything goes live. Then head on over to Twitter and follow me at Josh Engleman. Only place you're going to get updates to my sim results as we get closer to lock. And finally, comment section under the video, favorite contender, least favorite contender, and the guy that you thought should have made this list that you don't see. And finally, the number 1 contender for this slate, assuming Mike Conley doesn't play, that's Donovan Mitchell. Point guard, shooting guard eligible, 9K, projected for 50. The goal is 58, and he's in the optimal lineup 44% of the time. I'm giving Mitchell 38 minutes, 1.32 fantasy points per minute because he gets a massive bump, 36% usage, 31.8 real points. That's bonkers to me. Plus you get 6.5 assists, 4 boards, and a steal. I just think that his upside and combined with just a relatively reasonable price tag, but the way that he dominates the ball in the playoffs with no Mike Conley is massive. He is primed for a huge, huge day. So as long as we don't see Conley, Donovan Mitchell is the #1 contender for today's slate. Alrighty, folks, that will do it. Those are my NBA DFS contenders on DraftKings for Wednesday, June 16th. Process show is in the books. Go watch that. FanDuel version of this video is around here somewhere. Strategy show 10 a.m. with Lofty, and then I'm back 6:30 p.m. Eastern time, live before lock with Greg Ehrenberg. Good luck tonight, everybody. I'll catch you guys again tomorrow morning for another edition of the Contenders.